Okay. So my name is Nestor Osman. I'm a pastor, also working as coordinating the Master Guy Award for the North American Division. Um, what is Master Guy Outdoor? That's a big question. And the definition is that it is an NAD sponsor activity coordinated by properly trained master guides. What does it mean properly trained? Are not all the master guides properly trained? Well, yes and no. In theory, yes, but in the practice, sometimes more practice is required. And it's designed by conference union youth directors and their teams. All right. Uh, so the mission is to motivate master guides and friends to enjoy God's creation by training them on how to participate and lead a successful outdoor expedition in unique locations. And the vision is to connect all people with God by exploring His creation. And you can say, well, but Nestor, this is not new. Of course, it's not new. I mean, it is on the DNA of club ministries. The problem is that through the years, club ministries have moved away from the forest into the libraries, and we are trying to change that. We are trying to make the people enjoy more nature back again instead of so many books. One of my activities is to write new curriculums. I'm part of the team that wrote the new curriculum for master guides for the general conference and the AYMT certifications that the general conference is using based on AYMTs that we develop for NAD. And the idea is to bring the people, I mean, keep the Bible, keep the basics and the most important knowledge that we need, theoretical knowledge, and bring them back to the practice and nature and social life and spiritual life. So what is a Master Guide Outdoors? What is not Master Guide Outdoors? Master Guide Outdoors is not a survival activity. So you will have food and shelter. It's not a competition. It's not an activity exclusive for master guides. That's important. So it is not a non-religious activity, meaning it is a religious activity. So there are different versions. Every conference, every master guide club will have something different. Some people believe that these kind of expeditions are to kill, people, to take them to extreme so they can break. And this is not the idea for Master Guide Outdoors. It is a challenge, but there will be different levels of challenge. It depends on the people, on the participant capacity to endure those challenges. And the activity is not just for master guides. The activity is for master guide candidates, and it is also for non-Adventists. Can you explain that? Well, this is the thing. I'm probably you will say, well, that's logic, Nestor, but some people don't understand this. Club ministries is not just for Adventist people, especially in adventures and pathfinders. Club ministries is for everybody. So non-Adventists are welcome. The thing is, for Master Guide clubs are exclusively for Adventist people. Um, the official Master Guide club. And how can you work with people that is not Adventist? Well, if you have a friend that is not Adventist, you would like to bring them to the church. They don't like the church, but they like this kind of activities. You can bring them to a Master Guide outdoor expedition. So the only requirement is that that person that is not Adventist needs to come with you or with a master guide that is as a reference. The idea is to connect always every event with the local church. So that's why we opened this, and we had amazing results. We had young people that said I would never go to a church, but I definitely want to come back to these kind of activities. And this is pretty much evangelism. It looks like an expedition, the old-fashioned expedition, but it is evangelism and training and a spiritual retreat for sure. Who are welcome. Master Guide Outdoors is open for outdoor enthusiasts, ages 16 and older, that would like to connect with God and His creation. Oh, you are talking about young people? Not necessarily. I remember one expedition we had in Rocky Mountain National Park. The youngest was 17, the oldest was 66. And you will see a lot of and let me tell you, the older friends did better than the young people. Too much computer, too much screen time, they did fantastic, and they connect also. It was a intergenerational activity. Why we need to do this? Or why is the purpose? What the camp out looks like these days? What the photo they want to post, especially young people, they are willing to do the extra mile for the photo. And what is our tendency in master guide training? So an example of this, I don't know if some of you were able to go to Gillette, Wyoming, to the international camporee. We had a storm. And for some people, that was the end of the world. And for some others, it was a storm, like any other storm. And it was very interesting, because we're supposed to be experts in outdoor activities. But for some people, that have been different in their training, in their experience, so they are not used to storms or rain. There are amazing facts, especially millennials and Gen Z also are going outdoors more than ever before. There are some statistics, but they will love, to travel different locations and experience different ways of camping and accommodation. They are not scared of these kind of activities. We sometimes try to find out how can we bring our kids back to the church. Well, bring them to a master guide expedition, a master guide outdoor expedition, and they will come. Many of them will come. Just be clear on the rules. This is a Christian activity. We don't accept alcohol. We don't accept drugs. And this is a respectful and friendly environment. And we will have prayers. We will have activities. And I will explain a little bit more about that next. Millennials want a break from all the noise of social media, but at the same time, they will do whatever it takes to create content. They are okay without Wi-Fi. That's important. Statistics says they can survive maybe 24 hours, maybe a weekend. That's a joke. People can survive without screens, long periods of time. Young people also. How to organize one? My suggestion is to organize an official master guide club for insurance and local church support. The master guide club will provide you with the structure, and you will have the knowledge of the participant. That means that instead of a group, it will be a team. A team is a group of people that that you trust, their weaknesses, what you can count with with them. So it is a very strong group. In another hand, if you are preparing an expedition like MGO, Master Guide Outdoors, like we do it with groups. We don't have a Master Guide club. We do it with groups. And the challenge with that is that you never know who is coming. You know a name, a medical form, that's it, and that's a challenge. When you are in a regular meeting at church, that's not a problem. The biggest challenge is to find the bathroom. When you are in a mountain, it can be a problem. because you don't know the reaction, you don't know if there is any mental issue or what problems can there be. But there is always opportunities. We do it anyway. We just lower the bar, meaning that we have usually two levels. The level of people, for example, let me give you another example. Taking again the Rocky Mountain, we did a summit of 13,000 feet, and also a different group will just walk in sea level, in not sea level, but in flat level in the lakes in Rocky Mountain National Park. They call themselves the Lakers. Uh, and the ones that were, in a position to walk to the summit, they will do it. The ones that prefer to stay and walk in the flat, they will do it, and everybody can participate. That's the point, right? But my suggestion is to organize a master guide club or doing it with a master guide club so you can have a team. First step is to pray about it. No, not even dare to start a master guide outdoor expedition or coordinate one without praying because there are risks involved. I will tell you the truth. There is more risk in these kind of activities than in a camp out in your backyard, in the backyard of the church. But also the benefit or the gain of the activity is huge. Okay, it will provide a lot of benefit. Find a place affordable, quiet, and known. If you can find those three characteristics, that will be fantastic. And by the way, this is the same for any camp out with adventures, pathfinders. Affordable is because you want everybody to be there. No, you don't want, oh, this is so expensive that half of my club can attend and nobody else. It needs to be affordable. But for that, it might need to be close by so people can travel. Everything is about imagination. You don't need to go to a fancy place in the planet. Everything is about imagination. It needs to be quiet, meaning that if it's super crowded, you will, uh, yeah, the spirit of the activity, I don't know if it will work. It will be a challenge. And it needs to be known, meaning that if you are going to prepare an activity like this, you have to go there first and check. For example, in 3 weeks, I have a 3 weeks. Yes, I have a Master Guide outdoor expedition in Arches National Park in Utah, in Moab. This specifically is for youth directors, conference youth directors. I will be training them on how to organize this, and that's a very known place. But the idea is to be there first. So we went there last year. We did exploration and the planning, and then we start advertising it. All right, so we know what to expect. Set a date in consensus with the group. Remember, you are not talking with pathfinders here. You are talking with master guides or master guide candidates. They have their budget, they have their agenda, so their calendar. So you need to work on a consensus. Different seasons, announce it as soon as possible. The same place is a different place in different seasons. You go in winter, you go in summer, totally different places, even if it's the same location. Set a cost budget, establish the final cost per person and announce it as soon as possible. Very simple. In this kind of activities, you don't work, for example, with meals. Sadly, there is a lot of challenges with meals. There's people with allergies. So you don't go there. You cannot afford to have an allergic reaction in the middle of the mountain or in the desert. So everybody needs to take care of their own meals. Everybody needs to take care of their own travel arrangements. So pretty much the cost or the budget will be for a registration fee that will be for a patch or something like that, or the organization itself, the trip that you have to do to explore the place. ahead of time. Train the members in the camping skills requirements from the Master Guide curriculum. Do it in a Master Guide level. That's a common mistake that I see is that some people believe, oh, I have camping skills 1 to 4. I did it when I was 11. Well, now you are 45 and probably you have no clue about camping. So you should go again in a Master Guide club and revisit those honors with a Master Guide level in mind. Make a list of the equipment necessary as soon as possible. Some people will need to collect that equipment, starting with a backpack, for example, if you are working on a backpacking trip. Create a team, establish clear and simple rules. All right. One of the rules must be respect. There is no way to have this kind of conversation without respect. Another rule is that there is a leader, and the leader is the one that will hear everybody and take the decision. All right. There is no personal agendas on the activity. We cannot just split the group in 4 and each one will go different directions. You have to keep them together as much as possible. But that is planning. You have to plan for A, for B, and for C. You go this direction, there is a bear on the trail, so you have to go to another direction. You have to plan for that. You are camping here today and starts snowing. You have to move. Well, you have to plan for that. So planning is critical so you can prevent. Nature, don't worry. Nature will take you out of your plans every single time because nature is like that. But with more planning, you can focus on the surprises instead of the basics, like what are we going to eat, for example. Design a unique, creative, spiritual program. It's not the same to pray alone in your room than to do it in the forest. You know, the common things that we do at church in nature are 10 times better. Let me tell you. If you are alone in the morning before sunrise, oof, you don't need to close your eyes. God is there, you know, by the lake, by the fire next to you in the night. So that's huge. It is not the same to preach from a pulpit than from a rock in the river or next to a campfire. One of the reasons I'm a big fan of these kind of activities is that you have a young son or daughter that they don't go to church anymore, or you have young people, friends, they don't go to church anymore. The thing is that probably they don't care about what is happening at church. They cannot connect with the sermon or whoever is speaking. However, what I learned through my years in youth ministries is that if you walk with them, if you eat with them, if you listen to them, and that means a backpacking expedition, at the end of that expedition or at the end of that hike, you have earned the right to preach. Doesn't matter if you are the best preacher or not, they will listen because there is a connection. For example, right now, there is no connection between me and you. I don't see your faces. I have no clue who you are. I have no eaten pizza with you. So we are not friends. We are okay. We are in the same team, in the same side of history, in the same ministry, but we are not friends because we didn't walk together. Once you walk with someone for 30 miles, that person becomes your friend. And I like to hear my friends. All right. So that's why if you want to preach to a young person, you need to walk with that person first. It is not the same a Holy Supper in the temple than in nature. You never try something like that. I did, and it is impactful. It is the impact in young people is huge. It is possible to find hundreds of Bible verses describing the nature, like in John 38 and 39. I love those. But one thing is to read that in your living room. A different thing is to read that in the summit of a mountain. Take the time to make a program balance between spiritual activities, training, and recovery time. Some people are crazy about training, 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 so we have to go walk, 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 never stop. I like to enjoy, First day, you come with a lot of energies. We had to burn those energies. So the longest walk is on or paddle if you are doing canoeing or things like that will be the first day. The second day, if it's a Sabbath, we take it for rest, to enjoy the place, for short walks, exploration, and of course spiritual time and recovery. Okay, but training will be what happened in other moments. And let me explain how we provide training. Usually, the traditional compound is you have a schedule. Okay, we arrive at 5, we have supper at 6, we have worship at 7. You cannot do that on a Masagai outdoor expedition. So we have cards with activities. So we are walking, we take a break of 5 minutes, we take one of the cards and we say, okay, the card is checking. How is your body system working? Is your body going well, doing well? Is in pain? And does it need to change the backpack or anything like that? And you have that. Sometimes it's a spiritual. It takes time to because you have more time. So you take a spiritual card and say, okay, now we will divide and pray for a very specific concern that we have, that we came here looking for peace, for relief from that, and you have a spiritual moment. But you don't have a traditional, because you don't never know at what time are you arriving. It is every time. If you have a schedule, you will destroy. So it's better to use moments. Okay. Have an emergency plan informing the details of the activity to the church and authorities. This is a huge mistake that I see over and over. There are master guys that they believe they are immortal and they know everything about everybody. That's not true. We have to be humble, and understand that we will fail at some point. I cannot tell you when, but we will, and we will need help. It's simple like that. The biggest challenge when somebody gets lost is not to find the place, it is to admit that it's lost. And the first step to solve any problem is to admit that you have a problem. All right. So planning and informing everybody and make sure that there is someone that is not participating in the activity that knows exactly where and when are you going to be there. That's critical, and that someone or someone, it can be more than one people or one person. They need to be capable to intervene if necessary, contact the authorities, provide information, um, and we are talking about serious activities. This is not a walk in the garden. This is more serious. Prepare all the backpacks the day before. Procrastination is not good. So you make sure everything is ready before. Just carry all that you need and not all that you can. Some people believe, oh, I have an 80 liters backpack. I need to fill it to the end. That's not true. The more you know, the less you bring, pretty much. And you will complete the backpack with um, spare socks, spare, I don't know, blanket for people that will forget, because there is always people that forgets, and you are the leader. So, but the more you know, the more accurate you will be with your backpack, and the less you will bring. Be on time and respect the program, but at the same time, be ready to adapt since nature changes all the time. Make the largest physical effort on Friday, recover on Sabbath, and finish it on Sunday. I already mentioned this. Evaluate the practices of camping skills. That's pretty much very useful for that kind of activities. I will tell my people, when I had a club in high school, I would tell them, if you don't cry after this weekend, you are approved for the camping field. And they will laugh at me, but at the end of the day, they will accept that it was a challenge, and by following the rules, meaning the checklist, they will be fine. Understand that they are not adventurers or pathfinders. They are not soldiers. Also, people, oof, pay attention to that. They are soldiers of God. They are not soldiers. We are not in the army. So we have to be very clear about that. We have some principles that the army applies, like, for example, the chain of command, which is based on discipleship, pretty much, the Christian discipleship. We have drill and marching, for example, which is learning self control, which is very valuable. But we are Christians, and Pathfinders, Master Guide, and Adventures are Christian ministries. All right, never forget that. So expedition, you can call it hiking, trekking, backpacking, ultralight backpacking, minimalist backpacking. There are different ways, but it is a journey undertaken by a group of people with a particular purpose, especially that exploration, research, or war. That's the official definition. The blessing of these activities, and let me share with you a little bit of the benefits. These were the spiritual retreats of Jesus, right? Spiritual retreat of Jesus didn't happen in the church. It happened before sunrise by himself. When he needed to connect with God, uh, he will go by himself to places like this. The church was his favorite place to spend Sabbath and to be with the community of believers and to share and preach. But when he needed to recharge batteries, he will go to the wilderness. Direct access to the revelation of God in nature. All right. Um, Remember, the first book was not the Bible. The first book from God was nature, and we can still read from it. Creates a small Christian community. Young people these days, the churches that keep young people have three characteristics. One is community. One is, I will mention the other two that are coming up. One is community, creates a small Christian community with a strong bonds, replicating the early church for a few days. So during those days on a backpacking trip, everybody is a brother, a sister, everybody is part of the group, everybody's in the same journey, everybody's sharing the load of the activity, everybody's exhausted, everybody smells the same, everybody enjoys the same, and that creates a strong community. Produces authenticity beyond appearances and smell. This is another characteristics of the churches that keep young people. Authenticity. You cannot pretend to be the holy something in a backpacking trip because you get tired. So filters go away, and you are who you are. And that's gold for young people, especially. That's gold. Increase physical, mental, and spiritual resilience. This is true. Also, you will come back stronger than ever after this kind of activity. Tired, for sure, but stronger. And establishes a very strong common purpose. Purpose is the other critical characteristic of churches that are friendly for young people. Why purpose? Because the young person these days is asking themselves, why should I go to church again? What is the purpose for me to go to church? And sometimes they don't find the purpose because there is no room for them in leadership. They have no mission to go into church other than to sit down and listen a sermon, but they can do that online. So they don't need to go to church. They go for church if there is community, if they know their name, if somebody's missing them, if they are not there. for authenticity, when they hear real stories of real people, and for a purpose, if they have something to do. And those three things are in the Master Guide Outdoor expeditions. The purpose is to finish, pretty much, and to enjoy the activity. Plus endorphins, plus weight loss, plus joy, plus fun, plus identity, plus adventure, plus teamwork, plus marketing. You don't need to advertise this. I mean, every year I'm receiving a lot of texts asking me, when is the next one? When is the next one? When can we know? When can we register? And the activity itself is marketing, and it is commitment also. Once you lead these kind of activities, the people that participate, they will know your voice. They will know uh, to trust you, and that will make you the leader. All right. Remember, leadership is not about a label or a position. It is about a relationship. All right. People choose their leaders. Traditions are inspiring Christian journey. In the Christian journey, Enoch walk faithfully with God, and I will walk among you and will be your God on the road of Emmaus. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. Walking on the journey, or as you can see, the journey of the Christian, that is the dream of Helen White, that is right there, that has been part of our identity. And this is just another practice. We always talk, about the sermons of Jesus, the miracles of Jesus. We never talk about what happened in the 3,200 miles he walked with his disciples. And I believe the training, the connection, the team building happened walking. And what we have records in the Bible is what happened when they stopped walking, right? And remember, it is not about us, it is about them. So I have run, I believe, 45 expeditions already. And each one is different, each one is unique, and each one gives you the opportunity to connect with people, young people, like nothing else. So you have to take the opportunity and get out of your comfort zone and organize this. But the key is to be organized and to be properly trained. You cannot go and do a winter camp in Alaska, in Canada, in Iceland, or Norway if you are not trained for that purpose. Doesn't matter that you have a Master Guide scarf. If you are not trained, don't do it. Same thing with the desert, the same thing with the jungle, the same thing with the mountain. You have to be humble enough to understand that you need training. Where do you get the training? There are two options, professionals or local people. The best option are both. Get some training from professionals, get some training from local people from the area that know the place you are going. And that combination will give you all the tools that you need to organize this kind of activity. All right. And that was Master Guide Outdoors. People, now is the time for questions. So if you have questions, I'm done with the presentation. I don't know if I have a lot of time. I spent a lot of time already. Probably some of you are disconnected, but I'm ready to answer questions or to have a conversation if you want, Evelyn or Harry Narin. Harry Narin.
You
I'm
said it
learning
right.
your name.
Harry Narin, you said it right.
Harry
Nestor,
Narin.
thank you so much because the timing of this seminar is perfect because we are about a little less than a month away from our wilderness camping. So even though it's not a Master Guide Outdoors activity, it's the first outdoors activity for many of them who are willing to go out. I know you made available online some resources for the backpacking owner from the Master Guide perspective, like you mentioned, like higher level, more difficult. So if you had some recommendations for them on the basic equipment, how they should start, because for many of them is the first camp that they're gonna go there. They have been to camporees, but they have not been to a backpacking event or to a wilderness camping.
Do you want to work on that in the next 5 minutes?
Yes, we can work on that.
Okay, so give me the location and date.
Okay, so we are going on October 11, 12, and 13. The location is Mongop Pond. Let me see if I can put the
This is a forest, a mountain, is water, is a river, ocean. Put it in the chat, please.
Yes, I'm sharing right now. The flyer. Give me 1 second. So you can see this is the place. Right. It's Mongop Pond State Park. This is upstate New York near the Catskills area. So by that time, we're gonna be between 60 degrees to 37 degrees. It's a forest. Not a lot of mountains that we're gonna be climbing. It's more or less even the terrain.
Okay, so there is a camping area. Are you using the camping area to camp or as a base camp?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so from there you are doing day hikes.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so the temperature will be 30.
The lowest 37 at night, the highest 60.
Okay, so under 50, I will say always get ready for snow. How do you get ready for snow? It is pretty simple. And take notes because this will be a huge difference. Usually we talk about layers when we walk. Layers means a shirt that is cotton, for example, then a fleece jacket, and then a waterproof jacket. Those are layers. So you can take one, take another, or put or make a different combination. We usually don't talk about that when we sleep, and it is very important. So if you are going to sleep and you have a regular sleeping bag, a mommy sleeping bag that will cover your head, you can always bring a fleece blanket, but not to cover outside, but inside. So pretty much you have 3 layers. The first layer will be pajamas with socks, wood socks. Make sure that are wool. I'm sorry, wool socks. Make sure that is wool and no acrylic or plastic. When you purchase a sock, read what is the content. Make sure that it's a lot of wool because that will keep you warm. Use gloves also, and especially I like to use a ski mask of fleece. It is pretty much a hat that will cover your neck, your nose, so you can breathe through that. And if even I use it even in summer because I don't want bugs to enter through my nose and my ears, or my mouth. So I put that and I forget. I go to sleep in peace, no problem at all. I use that in jungles expeditions, in the North Pole expedition. I use it in the mountains, everywhere. So the pajamas, it needs to be comfortable, but it needs to be long. And also you can use the fleece jacket to sleep. That's the first layer. The second layer will be the blanket. You know, cover yourself with a blanket underneath and above you, and then you enter to the sleeping bag. That will increase the temperature of your sleeping bag for perhaps 5, 10, 15 degrees, and that will be enough for a comfortable night of rest. Rest is critical, so that's why you need to do that.
Nestor, are you saying
Yes.
Are you saying that blanket goes inside the sleeping bag?
Yes. And if you're talking about negative temperatures like minus something, it's exactly the same principle. You just use a second sleeping bag. So a fourth layer. Two sleeping bag, one inside the other one. But that's an extreme. You don't need that for 35 or 30 degrees. But the blanket, it needs to cover everything, your feet, your legs, your body, until up to your shoulders. So, and that's the layer system. That's not rocket science. It's just using what you use during the day for the night. Uh, Another thing that you have to keep in mind is hydration. Usually, when it's cold, people don't drink water. You don't drink water, you feel colder. So that's very important. I don't care if you want or if you feel like drinking water, you have to drink water anyway. That will keep you warm. And of course, don't drink water before you go to bed because you don't want to get up at 3 a.m. to need, yeah, you know that. Um, Other than that, focus on the sleeping pad, something underneath for you to sleep. I prefer to sleep with an inflatable sleeping pad. There are different ways to do it. Also, if you have cardboard, any cardboard, you can put it underneath, and that's a very nice insulation to sleep. Tents doesn't matter. Inside your tent and outside your tent, the temperature will be exactly the same. So don't worry about expensive or fancy tents. Um, Now is the time to eat chocolate. Chocolate, now you are allowed. Go for it. All in, no problem. If it's really cold, that's good for you. And the only thing that the other secret that I have for you is this: you don't go to sleep when you are cold. You first need to warm up, move your body, jump. Don't sweat, please. Don't do that. That's the other extreme that you want to avoid. But you have to be dry and warm. If you're cold, if your feet are cold, don't go to sleep until they are warm. If you are been sitting, you have to jump, do something, little jog around, and you will be fine. When you get to the tent to sleep that night, you have to change all your clothes, everything. What you use to sleep, you don't use it for the day. So you have to change everything, put everything dry, and go to sleep in the blanket and in the sleeping bag. And you will remember this advice. Give it a try and then let me know. After, when you wake up in the morning, you have to remove all the clothes again. And that will be kind of a shock, but you have to do it and put different clothes, the clothes that you will use through the day. Don't wear the same t-shirt, the same socks or anything in the night and in the day. You need the night to be super dry. Everything that you're wearing needs to be dry. Okay? If you can take a shower, go for a shower. That helps a lot. If there is no shower and there is a river, a stream that you can jump in, but it is cold, you can do it. I will do it. We do it in glacier waters, in lakes, whatever. The thing is, it is kind of a shock, uh, but that's what professional sports guys will do. They will go to water with ice and they will recover. The same thing, if you had a long hike today, you can do it. And you will feel clean. You will feel no cold at all after that. And you will sleep way better because your muscles will be recovered. But I do that. People don't believe me, and it is okay. Once they try, it becomes like addictive. They want to do it again and again and again. Uh, but yeah, if you don't try, you will never know. But that's to sleep in cold. Other than that, for the backpacking, you don't need a large backpack because those will be day packs, the day hiking, meaning you need a small backpack with water and snacks in there. I will suggest don't try new snacks use whatever you are used to. If you don't know the snack, don't try it, because you don't want to feel, some discomfort in your stomach. We try different brands, fancy brands of energy bars and things like that. At the end, you know what we do? We just do a sandwich, a homemade sandwich, whatever we like, and we bring that to the mountain. That's, yeah, my experience. But if you like the granola bar things or the energy bars, go for it. Don't drink energy drinks. That's not good also. That will drain you from energies after the effect is gone. And pretty much that's it. I can continue all night, but for now that's good.
Thank you, Nestor. I'm going to share with you guys the link of the backpacking honor that Nestor signed for Master Guide candidates. And maybe after we did the wilderness camping, we can do that one as well. I want to know if anybody has questions regarding the Master Guide Outdoors ministries or planning your outdoors activities. This is the time. Feel free to unmute yourself. They're a little shy, Nestor.
We are alone,
The
Ruth.
same thing with
They
me.
didn't come today. That's why I don't like this.
All
When
right.
I see faces, I feel with people, but with names, it's like we are alone here.
Yes, no problem. So just to wrap it up, there are expeditions, correct, that the North American Division does for Master Guides, and everybody from around the country can participate. So let's say we from Greater New York wanted to participate on the next one. How do we get in touch with you? How do we get involved?
In the NAD website, you just Google Master Guy Outdoors, and there will be the next one available, open for everybody. The thing is, the goal for the expedition is not for us to organize these activities for everybody every time, but just for conferences to send 1, 2, 3 delegates that will learn how to do it, so they can come back and organize for their conference. These kind of activities are limited. We cannot do this activity for 500 people. I mean, we could organize it. The challenge is to find a camping spot, and also you cannot bring 500 people to walk together on the mountain. So the space is limited. Sometimes it's 30, 35, 50, like too many. And we split them, we divide them. But the idea is to send someone at least once to learn the spirit of the activity, the process, to ask questions, and then go back and organize one of these activities. The next year we don't have a date yet. The next one is, as I said before, in 3 weeks, but that's only by invitation for youth directors. Again, with the same goal for them to learn, to get the idea, so they can send delegates and participate. To be honest, I don't know when or where will be the next one. We are trying to move around. We did in Iceland next with the Europeans. We did in Rocky Mountain National Park. We did in Glacier National Park. We did in Buffalo River in Arkansas. So we are moving around now. Arches National Park in Utah. We are moving around, trying to give the opportunity to as many as possible to participate. So stay tuned for the next one, and it will be fantastic to see some of you participating.
Bring it to the East Coast. Bring it to the East Coast, and we'll be able to participate. So
Probably, yeah.
Just to keep you guys encouraged, Nestor was saying that we ideally will be doing this through the Master Guide clubs. And as you have heard, between last year and this year, our conference has been opening Master Guide clubs. Ideally, we will have more, one each every borough. So by the time you get invested, the idea is that you get invested, you graduate, and you transition to become part of a Master Guide club, so you can stay involved in all the activities, and eventually we'll have our Master Guide Outdoors ministries with our own expeditions in Greater New York. Thank you so much, Nestor.
And then you will invite me to participate.
Of course, we're gonna invite you. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you for keeping Greater New York, giving us the chance to meet in person. I know you're a very busy person, and I hope that everybody got inspired. Nestor has been doing this for a long time, but it's never too late to get started. So don't, like you mentioned, right? There's different ages that you can participate in, just to keep you updated. If you notice, people who are involved in this type of activities tend to remain younger. Because of the lifestyle, the activity, it keeps you active, it keeps you with a younger spirit. So just that's another benefit of it. All right. Thank you so much, Nestor. All right. Do we have any other question, or we're going to wrap the session? I have the list of equipments that we were talking last time, some suggestions. I'm going to post it in the chat later tonight. I already have it. So please remember to register for the wilderness camping if you have not done so, because we have limited space and we want to figure out for those who don't have transportation. So deadline is this Saturday. Also remember, we are in the week leading to Pathfinder World Day. So we're doing the Master Guy Scarf, the Pathfinder Scarf Challenge. All right. So, every day our conference is posting something. Yesterday was to read a psalm before you went to sleep. Today was to pray for a pastor, elder, deacon, a leader from your church. Let's see what the challenge is going to be for tomorrow. So participate whenever you can. And the idea is that you wear your scarf throughout the week and people can identify you. And sometimes it's a conversation starter. When you go on the street, they ask you, why are you wearing your that scarf? And then you can testify what is Club Ministries. And maybe you can, catch the interest of one or two parents who have children in Pathfinder age, and you bring them to your club. Thank you so much. All right, Nestor, please lead us in the last prayer, and we're going to be.
Sure, no problem. Let's pray. Dear Father in heaven, thank you, Lord, for Ruth's leadership and for all the participants in this meeting. Pray for them, for their families, for their jobs, for their spiritual life, for their mental health. I pray for their leadership. I pray for the challenges in life in general, so you can give them victories. Hopefully they keep working for you and trying to achieve the Master investiture, which is nothing else than pure service. Give them that spirit of service that you had and you brought to this world, and help us to be humble. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. This recording will be available in your Google Classroom sometime this week. Thank you and good night.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.